Welcome to day 38 of the Seeker's Guide to Soul Contact. Hope you're enjoying the classes so far. If you are, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. And we have all the previous lessons recorded that you can catch up on if necessary. The theme for today is I will not let criticism control me. In addition to your criticism of others causing interference with soul contact, others criticizing you can have the same effect. Criticism is hard to take, even when we know the critic is right, and even when he has a sugar-coated approach, even though he's a good friend or a loved one. Sometimes you would just as soon the criticism come from an adversary clearly out to get you, so you could lash back at him with some justification. The seeker needs to look at criticism much differently than the average person. He should look at it as a spiritual exercise. Here's a guy letting you know of your faults, and your emotional self feels hurt and wants to attack back or carry a grievance. Your emotional self feels that you're doing your best and do not deserve the criticism. If anything, you deserve a pat on the back. Here your mind must take charge. Tell the emotional self to calm down and look on this as an opportunity rather than a problem. If you can keep the emotional self at peace, even though the encounter is with a harsh critic, then your spiritual muscles will be strengthened, allowing for less interference to soul contact. On the other hand, if you take offense and harbor a grievance because of a criticism, you've just placed one of the most impenetrable barriers between you and the soul. The seeker must not allow this to happen. There are a number of ways that people respond to criticism. Some take offense at the slightest hint of wrongdoing and harbor negative feelings. These people are rarely at peace with their emotional selves. Others try to take criticism well, but then when the right buttons are pushed, they will jump into a full-fledged emotional turmoil. If you have learned to minimize the effect of criticism by seeing it for what it is, if it is accurate, then you have a chance to learn more about your flaws and can improve yourself. If it is unjust, then it is meaningless and you can just ignore it. Lashing out or attacking back is not a desirable response, but there is something worse you can do. You can suffer in silence and harbor a grievance. If you find yourself in this trap, you must dispel the grievance through communication. Review lessons 8 through 14 for procedures on handling this. It is difficult, even for advanced souls, to neutralize the negative effects of all criticism, especially if it comes from a loved one or someone respected. The solution to handling criticism is simple, but the application in some circumstances is difficult. Betty is a beginner in a yoga class, and the group is practicing a difficult posture. The instructor points to Betty and jokes that she looks like a walrus struggling to stay on a piece of ice. The whole class laughs, but Betty does not think it's funny at all. She feels like a duckling out of the class and runs home crying. It takes all her strength to handle the situation with dignity, yet without retaining negative feelings. Here's another example. Paul recently married the love of his life, and everything seems to be going fine. One day they were watching TV where women were talking about the qualities in men they found attractive. One said that she loved a man with a hairy chest. Now, Paul's wife's face just lit up and she nodded in agreement, saying, "Yes, the hairy chest has always turned me on." Poor Paul, he did not have a hairy chest, and thinking about her statement depressed him and hurt his feelings. His wife was oblivious to the effect of her words. The truth is that as we go through life, we're going to get hit with hurtful criticisms and statements now and then. The seeker must learn how to neutralize them to maintain maximum soul contact. Unfortunately, there is no magic bullet, but I will give two pieces of advice. First, the seeker must make a definite decision to make a goal to neutralize all negative feelings caused by any criticism or personal attack. Second, look at mastery of this as you would any skill. You improve by practice and application. Each time you receive a criticism that seems to affect your emotional body in a negative way, see it as an exercise that will strengthen you by handling it correctly. When the seeker reaches the point where he can take any blast of negative attack and maintain peace, then he has made a huge step forward toward greater soul contact. The assignment today is to think back on 3 different occasions when you received a hurtful criticism. How did you react? If you had it to do over, would you handle it differently? Be aware this coming week of any criticisms you receive and observe how your mind and emotions handle them. Give yourself a grade. The important thing is to be aware that negative feelings generated by criticism need to be neutralized and make it a goal to master them. End with this affirmation. I register criticisms with my mind, but I let them harmlessly pass through my emotional self. They have no power to hurt. This is a difficult thing to master, but it can be done, and the reward is great, and we will see you tomorrow.